fast forward to this Wednesday slate around Major League Baseball. A second game of this midweek series up in the Bronx between the Yankees and the Astros. These two teams have played 5 times this year, opening 4-game set of the season in Houston. The Yankees swept the Astros yesterday, a 10-3 victory for the Bombers at home as well. Tonight, heavily favored with Carlos Rodon on the bump to make it 6 straight wins over Houston. And that's the focus for me, Craig. The Astros 12-23, 11 games below 500. Yes, it is early May, but is it getting late early on this MLB season for the Astros?
Well, look, as Donnie knows, they're going to play this game in Midtown Manhattan tonight, right around the corner from the Bronx.
Kevin grew up here, by the way.
Tough matchup.
You joke about that, Craig, but that is Donnie's kind of bit, so.
Is this a Staten Island showdown or what tonight, this is it. This is what you're looking for. Staten Island versus Lubbock, Texas. So, Look. I think the Astros have to wake up soon. 2 weeks ago I wasn't worried. They lost another pitcher. They're not hitting. They're not pitching. They have guys going through free agency at the end of the season. Look, at a one-game scenario, anything can happen. But the concern level for Houston has got to be rising, and I think across the organization they sort of have to figure out who they are, because if not, they could be forced to do some very uncomfortable things at the deadline also.
The Astros right now 7-1 to win the American League pennant. Still tied for the 4th best price, but they were the preseason favorites at a plus 360 number. Craig Mish, we appreciate the time. As always, we will see you on Newswire in just about 40 minutes on this Wednesday. We'll dive through the rest of the slate today in Major League Baseball with some picks, previews, and breakdowns coming your way up next. Some day baseball inside Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri. It's the Royals hosting the Brewers. Kansas City won the opening game of this series by 1 run. The Brewers respond last night. The 3-run shot from Willy Adames in the top of the 9th. Milwaukee wins by 1 run. Might it be close on this Wednesday? KC minus 130, home money line favorite. Brady Singer gets the start, but really, we're talking our guy, Vinny P. Will it be another big day for Vinny Pasquantino and the Kansas City Royals?
There could be a chance to, but if you take a look at Joe Ross, the right-handed pitcher on the mound today, 143 batters he's faced this season, combined ISO power number 109, a weighted on-base percentage of 328, so right about average. Not giving up the power, but it's also one of those where if you say Ross, who's a decent pitcher and a righty, you just want to take a look at how the lineup performs for the Kansas City Royals just against right-handed pitching. And seemingly every day it comes up, you do want Vinny in your lineup at a 279 ISO power number to 338 weighted on-base percentage. Salvador Perez, 265 ISO, 423 weighted on base percentage, and a guy that always pops up for me on a night-to-night basis, usually at a 2-to-1 price or more to get an RBI, is Michael Massey, 209 ISO and a 360 weighted on base percentage. It's not a great matchup because you really would like to have left-handed batters really pounding away at Joe Ross, and that hasn't been the case. But if you feel that Royals lineup could stay hot, and also 75 degrees at first pitch, wind blowing out to left field at 6 miles an hour, maybe that helps. If we flip it over to the other side, Brady Singer on the mound, 160 batters he's faced. He's been electric here. An ISO of 160, which is still below the average, and a weighted on base percentage of 266. Not a lot to love on offense between these two ball clubs today, even though we had those 9th inning fireworks yesterday, and Vinny P getting a couple RBI. I don't know if that's going to be the case today. Maybe a slight lean towards the under.
Total at 9 right now for some day baseball. The New York Mets victorious in a high-scoring game against the Cardinals under the arch yesterday, 7-5 in St. Louis. More day baseball at Busch Stadium, where the Cardinals are a pretty hefty favorite to get a win over the Amazons. What do you think happens in the Lou?
This feels like an under as well, and you see that heavy favorites because Sonny Gray's been absolutely electric on the mound. Forget about the Mets lineup coming into the Sonny Gray through 114 batters, Ben. ISO power number of 056, a weighted on base percentage of 215, only walking 4% of the batters he's faced, and also his K percentage, 33%. All of these numbers are elite against a decent lineup here for the Mets. But let's flip it over to the other side, why it's really hard to trust the Cardinals. They got some devastating news yesterday. One of my favorite guys to bet RBI props early in the season was Contreras. Their catcher broke his arm when a spat from a swing yesterday hit his arm. He's going to be down for at least 60 days or more at this point. That's bad news. But Jose Quintana's on the mound today. 139 ISO and a 334 weighted on base percentage throughout 163 batters. He's been okay. But here's the problem if you're looking to back St. Louis at that big price. We expect a good performance out of Sonny Gray, but look at the guys at the plate. every single one of these batters against left-handed pitching over the past 30 days, Ben, 154 is the high number for an ISO power number. Everybody else, 0, 0, 042, 053, 059, 083, 087, and 0. This lineup is terrible against lefties here. So buyer beware. You'll get a good pitching performance for St. Louis. I don't know if you get the plate performance to uphold that number, though, Ben.
Donnie, the Redbirds did not reach expectation last year. Preseason NL Central favorites, they did not win the division. Same story this year. Preseason NL Central favorites, now 6 games below 500, riding a 4-game losing skid in the cellar of the National League Central. The Dodgers have been nearly a $3 favorite in their first 2 games against Miami this week at home. They have won both of those games relatively handily. A minus 290 favorite in game number 3 against Miami. Some day baseball at the Ravine. Will the Dodgers take advantage of nearly being booked as a $3 favorite again?
Be interesting. Again, you have that noon start out there, the marine layer that we always talk about in Los Angeles. Usually comes into play at night, but this is a day baseball game. 75 degrees at first pitch with the wind blowing out to dead center field at 7 miles an hour. Ryan Weathers, not a great pitcher on the mound here for Florida. However, last year he got peppered. Both left-handed and right-handed batters beating him up equally as a left-handed pitcher. This year, he's been stellar against lefties. So immediately you take a look and say, okay, Freddie Freeman, Shohei Ohtani might be out of the lineup, but how does he do against right-handed batters? Not great. A 213 ISO and a weighted on-base percentage of 373. Look no further than in the cleanup spot today, we expect to be Will Smith, a 357 ISO and a 522 weighted on-base percentage. That's your RBI guy, Will Smith, today.
Yeah, it really is a great look. The Dodgers have scored a ton of runs as of late. Shohei Ohtani did not hit a home run yesterday. He had 4 long balls in the previous 3 games for L.A. As we quickly show you the odds for today's day baseball inside the friendly confines, the Cubbies and the Padres have split their 2 games so far this week. The Cubs, an underdog at home today against San Diego. Dylan Cease gets the start for the Padres.